Kennedy in parts.
Kyle's
Kennedy in
gonna
parts.
attack me.
This is our top 5 heroes. Our top 5 heroes in the MCU. I'm gonna start it. Actually, I'm gonna have Nick start off. We'll go to the other end of the table here.
Wow.
Can I just say real fast, did anyone else have a harder time like listing off their favorite heroes or favorite villains?
I had
for
a
me-
much harder time with villains.
Villains.
I had
I
a
had a
hard
hard
No,
time.
I had
with
an
the heroes.
equally hard time with 4 and 5 of both of the lists.
I had a hard
Yeah.
time.
Because there was like
That's
three.
kind of
Exactly
like
for me too. Like, I had a hard time with the
Yeah,
heroes
it
for
was-
some reason.
There was the 3 on each of them where I was like, I know I like these 3, I know I like these 3, and then
Yeah.
after that was like, these are really
It was
interchangeable.
pretty easy
like,
for
they're really
me.
close. This guy's a big guy, 55,000 views.
Anyway, I was just curious. I was just
Who's your
curious.
number 5?
My number 5 is Ant-Man.
55.
I love that. I love that pick.
I like
Ant-Man
that.
does not make my
love
list.
Ant-Man.
The first, and maybe it's because I love
First
Paul
Ant-Man is a
Rudd.
high
How do
school
you
and
hate
it's
Paul Rudd?
incredible.
No, I love
Nick
Paul Rudd.
had not
How do you
seen.
hate Paul
Oh,
Rudd? How
it-
No, the
it's
first
true,
Ant-Man
no.
is
You love Paul
absolutely
Rudd, and
fantastic.
he's the only. I don't love
Nick
Ant-Man and the Wasp,
hadn't
but
even seen Ant-Man. or
yeah,
Ant-Man
until
and the
recently, it
Wasp.
was the
Till
2 I
winter
had.
break,
in my
we
sleep.
watched
I
them, and he had a
haven't
great
seen
time.
And he's the
Wasp,
like
I
I
still-
like I really like the first Ant-Man. I don't really like Ant-Man and the Wasp, but he's the
Oh.
only part of it that I think is good about
He's
it.
so funny.
The first
He's-
Ant-Man's a
he's
heist
incredible.
film, and it's
I
absolutely
haven't
fantastic.
seen the first Ant-Man.
Oh, so
I saw
funny.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I did not like Ant-Man and the Wasp at
They're
all.
just shots.
Ant-Man
from-
was-
I didn't
they
like
just
that
got
movie,
shot
but
to
I
me.
liked Ant-Man. I
I
think
like
recently
stuff
Saving
I
Grace
like
in the
Paul
movie.
Rudd. I liked his little jokes. I liked him being a comic
Yeah.
character, but I didn't get a sense of him actually being
Baskin
a hero.
Robbins, man.
You should
Most of
watch
it.
Ant-Man.
So, what?
I agree, Jules.
He's
all
so-
right. Let's
It's
see.
really-
First
it's
one, you
just
didn't-
Paul
you didn't-
Rudd
you
running
didn't enter
around.
my mind
Yeah.
because I hadn't seen the first.
No, but
He's just, it's
that-
Paul
that makes
Rudd
sense, that makes
Paul
sense.
Rudd of
around.
all of the
doing
new
improv.
Avengers, outside of maybe Tom Holland, is the happiest to be there as a superhero.
Oh yeah.
Like he just loves. Like you
Mark
can tell.
Ruffalo's in that camp too, I would say.
Mark. A couple
But he's been
movies
there for a
later,
while.
Mark's just kind
He's
of
already
moving
grown.
around.
Yeah.
for sure,
Yeah, they
but-
kind of. I don't really like what they've done with the Hulk.
We'll get there when we get to the Hulk movies and stuff. But let's go over to Julie for number 5.
Mine is good old Steve Rogers.
Steven.
I could take Steve.
Number
The
5.
heroes I think are going to have less debates because everybody really loves them. And the reason I want to do heroes
But
second
pretty
is
low, low in the top 5.
Piece of cheese pizza.
That's surprising.
I wanted to do heroes
It's a lot,
second
but-
of the 2 lists because
No, just bring me a
Marvel
piece. Oh.
Marvel focuses on their heroes more than their villains, and that's why I wanted to do it.
That's
So we've got Cap, Alex.
This
who we
isn't
got?
even.
Welcome to Movie Meals.
No, put it back.
Take it away!
We're gonna need those later. Alex,
That
who's
was
your
definitely
number
my
5
top
hero?
5 moments of this.
Who's your number 5 hero, Alex?
All right, I'll just say it.
Well, you're supposed to.
What?
It's Hawkeye.
I'm
I
telling
like
you right now,
I
you're
like
gonna.
it.
I guarantee we're gonna walk into Endgame and you're gonna love Hawkeye as Ronan.
Well, I didn't even think of Hawkeye just because he hasn't done
He
a
never
movie.
entered my mind.
But guys, the
Oh,
first-
he entered my mind.
That's a
I
great
like
scene.
that
That's
part.
my favorite
He
That's
didn't-
probably one of the
scene
best
He
scenes
didn't
in
enter
in
my
Age of
mind.
Ultron.
He didn't
100%.
enter my mind, but every time when I think about him, he's very underrated.
No, true. Yeah, if he had a full movie, he probably would have popped.
For
up.
a number
People
5?
hate on him so
He just
much.
needs more.
Because
he just
he
needs
uses
more
a bow.
screen time.
Yeah.
He
But
needs some more
they
time.
poke fun of it in Ultron, and that's the best thing. Is Joss Whedon was like, he's just a guy. Like it's people are saying, oh, what's Black Widow gonna do with a gun? Well, a gun will do
shoot it.
A gun will do something to Thanos. An arrow will too, but I feel like that's a lot. I feel like a gun's gonna hurt a little more, but
He never
we'll
misses.
see what happens.
I also just like how Renner, after the first Avengers movie, has accepted like what his character is, and
Yeah.
he's just like, sure, pew pew.
Oh, he just-
like,
Oh,
shit
yeah.
with a bow.
Ronan's gonna be cool, I think.
Kyle.
Go ahead.
I feel like we're rivals just because we're across the table. It's weird.
I've been agreeing with you so
Yeah, anyway, go ahead.
Nick and I are.
Well, except for the
we're
Iron Man
brothers.
thing,
We have
We
weaver
are.
brother telepathy. I actually thought of a hero halfway through that I threw into the middle of my list, so it bumped the Winter Soldier Bucky Barnes off my list. I want to throw that out there. He was my number 5
That's a
hero
mistake.
because I love him. My number 5 hero is Rocket Raccoon.
I love
I
that.
I thought about it.
I
Yeah,
love
I thought
Rocket.
about him.
After rewatching Guardians for the first time in a long time, I absolutely adored him.
He's amazing.
He
Bradley Cooper's so
and
good.
even in
so funny.
Guardians 2, which I don't love, is a lot less than the first
Yeah,
one.
same with me. There's
He
some
still
character
has
stuff in
some
that movie.
great moments. He has
Oh,
an
yeah.
amazing moment with Thor in the ship in
Yeah.
Infinity War
Underrated scene
when he's
in that
just
one.
talking
Yeah.
talking to
Oh,
him
yeah.
about his loss and
Oh,
everything.
you
It's
love
so
that
good. Rocket
Yeah, he
Raccoon.
talked about it.
Rocket Raccoon was supposed to
talk
be
about
my
it
number
later.
4. Bumped him down for a hero I like more, but I do love me.
You
some
putting
Rocket
Ant-Man at 3?
I'm putting the Wasp at 3, baby. Evangeline Lilly's my girl.
Oh,
I love
I
her.
love
Oh!
Wasp.
Jules.
Oh, why did I not put her on my
Can we
list?
disagree though that the Wasp is better in Ant-Man than the Wasp?
Well, of course she's got
Because she's a
something to
hero
do.
now. She's a hero now.
That's
Doesn't
why
have
I
that terrible
asked.
haircut.
She did in the first one.
Evangeline
that was-
Lilly's
When your
beautiful
hero's name
24/7,
is
365.
You better
She is
hope
beautiful.
it's
Yeah,
yeah.
I think you're.
Caleb Keller will agree
time
with Julie and I. Loves her. All right, Zach, who's your number 5 hero?
I love
That
Caleb
would
Keller.
be Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk.
Mark Ruffalo.
He's had a.
Or is it Edward Norton?
I like to think the Hulk is Edward Norton, while Bruce Banner is Mark Ruffalo. A Jackal.
Alright.
You like emo hair Hulk.
Edward Norton was in a Marvel movie?
Oh,
Yeah,
Edward Norton!
that's what
Who's
everyone.
Edward Norton?
That's
he
what
the
everyone.
bagel
I
and
haven't seen
sausage
him
party?
since Alita Battle Angel.
I can't.
He's the bagel and sausage
Anyways,
party.
that was more
So he
just
has
horrible
like
movie.
some of the
I
most
love it. We
internal
love that
struggle,
movie.
literally, where he has a giant green monster that just wants to get out and hates who he is and all that stuff, and the internal struggle.
Until
And
Infinity
it's-
War.
Yeah, until Infinity War, where he's just like, ooh.
No!
And he gets really bad
Ragnarok,
CGI
and
when
Thor
he's in-
Ragnarok, the Hulk itself comes out and starts to become more of a personality, and he's just like, I want to be cool too. And then in Infinity War, when the Hulk kind of gets his butt kicked, and he's just like, I don't want to fight anymore.
Yeah.
I don't like you, Bruce. I don't like you.
What?
And then
If that
now it's
says
just sort of like
20%,
coming to
you
more
let
of
me
a
know.
conclusion. So
I
his
can't
character arc
see
is
it.
It'll
like,
pop. Yeah,
No,
I can
no,
see
no,
it.
one of the,
Alright.
one of
Pop
the
up
best
later.
Alright,
in the
alright.
entire MCU, I would say,
Yeah,
in terms of heroes.
I can see that.
yeah. I
Who
like
do you
those
got,
points.
Kyle?
Who do
Yeah,
I
there's
got?
definitely a lot more heroes I feel like to choose from. Like, there's like 7 villains, and we have to cut out a few, but the heroes, it's
There's a
like,
lot of lackluster
there's
villains.
so
in this
many,
thing.
yeah.
There's a lot of lackluster
Yeah.
villains, I'm not gonna lie.
My number 5 is Black Widow, and
Oh.
I wasn't expecting to
Interesting.
put her on the list, but the more I thought about it, the more I would say she's probably one of my favorites. Like,
I slowly bumped her off over and over. I was like, I'd probably put her at 3 and then just
Yeah.
slowly knocked her off. But I do love Black Widow.
You love her
Hopefully the
acting in
movie's good.
Infinity War when she's like, for about 5 minutes.
she
When she
quiet-
just-
quietly, she
That was
has a
really
lot
gross.
of character development. Whether
Yeah.
it's in
She
Iron Man 2,
is
especially
great
Winter
in
Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Age of
That's
Ultron with the
She's-
romance with Hulk.
she's
Sure,
pretty
I guess,
good in,
but-
Yeah, 'cause the only reason I didn't really,
A lot of
I didn't really
quiet
consider
moments.
No,
her that
we
much
needed
because,
the
you know,
moment in Ultron of
she's-
them in love
she's
because
such-
it is the funniest moment of Thor Ragnarok.
It's the thing, like she's such a great secondary hero. To
Yeah,
the
it's
main
very
protagonist.
true.
If you took her
she's great.
out, I don't think the movies would work quite as well. But if
Especially
you put a
Winter
character in,
Soldier.
she's always helping them out in the best ways and all that stuff, and kind of making things more interesting at the same time.
Yeah.
So she's
She's
a great-
also like a street level character
Yeah.
to where you have like a Hulk or a Thor. Like it,
Yeah.
it
And a
helps
Hawkeye.
it helps those
she's just
movies
a,
feel
she's just
more
a
grounded.
good old natural happening assassin.
Best romance in all of the MCU is Bucky and Captain America.
True.
She
Hey,
mentioned
well,
that
Jules,
earlier.
We're on the
100%
same wavelength
making.
today. We're
I
on the
was
same
gonna
wavelength.
say we should go around and say our favorite relationship, and that was gonna be mine.
Well, it's
100
not
years in
even
the
close.
making, and we're now. Getting
What? Are
something
you
off
kidding
it.
me? Rocket and Groot?
Oh, all right, it's close. It's close. We were making jokes yesterday while watching Infinity War that the second Bucky just turns to dust, Cap's like, "Buck, Buck, Bucky, run, Bucky, run!" All right, Nick, who do you got?
For 4?
For
Did we get everybody
Five.
for
It
5?
started with me, so yeah.
oh yeah, that's,
Nick, what's your number 4?
I never know what's
My number 4 is Thor. Even though I feel like all 3 of his movies, none of them are that great or that bad, I think he has great character development in each movie, and the scene in Infinity War is incredible, and he's just,
He's been getting the best development.
he gets a,
in the new
just-
movies.
yeah,
so
he's
far.
he's got a ton of development. I loved him losing his eye and what that did for thematically his character.
What's the
He-
what's the
Um,
scene in Infinity War?
the scene in Infinity War when he talks with Rocket?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna chime in here. Thor's my number 4.
Great call.
Remember, if you have this name, call it out. And I'm with Nick 100% on all of it, although except I love the first Thor.
It's
I
underrated.
love Thor Ragnarok.
and Hemsworth is
and
literally
Ragnarok completely.
Yeah, he's a great.
They
he's great in
really
that
change
That was
his
great
character
casting.
and give him a lot more to
Yeah.
do in Ragnarok. And then again,
Yeah.
that scene in
They
Infinity
change
War
him for
is
the
so
best.
good Because he says to Gamora earlier in a couple scenes before where he's like, losing family and having bad family can be tough. And then he actually sits with Rocket and he's like, oh, I've got nothing really left to lose. Everybody's gone. Like my planet, everything's gone.
Natalie
Asgard
Portman.
gone. Natalie's
Where did he
Nick-
go?
Nick Jared
Natalie
Her
Portman.
She's out.
She said
she's
that
out
she
giving
couldn't
her all in
legally
another
sign
movie.
another contract to be with me for another year, so that I'm taking that a little rough.
So I'm with Nick. Nobody else had Thor, right? We all were. Thor was at 4.
I
It was
was
supposed to
I'm gonna
be.
admit, as
supposed
much as
to be
I
Rocket.
agree with all you guys about him, he's not in my top
All right. Then
I
I can see it though. There's a lot of heroes, so it's-
Jules,
There's
who do you
one.
got?
Yeah.
So I
It's
made a
better
last
be
minute
long.
change.
Wow.
Just doing some
I
better
had
things.
Peter Quill as Star Lord,
But she
but
doesn't.
I think I'm gonna change it to the Wasp because I forgot about her and I love her.
No!
She's
They're
twins.
Love her.
Like I like Ant-Man, he's funny. But
Really
the Wasp
funny.
is a better fighter.
Baskin Robbins.
The Wasp is a better fighter, and she's
Just brutally
smarter.
true.
Oh, it's
And
brutally
she's
true.
just really hot.
But they show that
Oh,
more in Ant-Man the
brutal.
Wasp and
With
not
me-
in both of those
with
movies.
me,
though.
the
Like, she's so
Wasp-
annoying in
and
the
it's
first
like a
No, she's not.
It's like a
And
buddy
Ant-Man's
cop.
in
Civil
She's like
War.
a buddy cop to
You're
Ant-Man,
super.
obviously.
I
Like,
am.
she's the straight one and he's the goofball.
Ant-Man has
Yeah.
got
So
6
every
and 5
Goofball
feet.
I-
needs a straight man. I'm looking at you over there, Al.
I see you.
Here's a hot take.
Oh boy.
I would love for the Wasp, really,
I need more of
to
those,
be
Alex. Get 'em
one
all
of the
out.
new leaders of the new Avengers.
Her and Spidey.
I understand.
Because they're
that.
both
Because
bugs.
she's
I'd love Gordon Gekko to be the new
strategically-minded.
leader.
What?
The Geico Gecko?
It's AVP. It's a different movies. Her dad
I prefer the caveman.
in Ant-Man.
That was so good, Alex!
No one's seen Wall Street.
Oh my god, Alex's
What are
joke
you
was
talking
so
about?
What's
good!
going on?
Yeah, what is
Oh,
happening?
audience,
The
if you
dad
didn't hear
of
Alex's
the
joke,
Wasp's
please rewind.
dad.
It's so
What's-
good.
Michael Douglas.
You're talking
Yeah.
about Hank Pym.
Yeah, he plays Gordon Gekko
Oh.
in Wall Street.
Oh.
Sorry,
Yeah.
you're making
Alex's
Alex
joke.
joke. Alex's joke about the Geico
Oh my
commercials is the
God.
best thing I've ever heard.
That name sounded very familiar,
Yeah.
but I was just like,
He
I don't
loves-
know.
No,
I
was
love the
just
choice
face.
of
I was
words.
just-
I love the
Like,
choice
that
of
joke got old by 1990, alright?
I
She
love the-
should
You gotta
be-
bring it back.
She should be one of the leaders of the new Avengers.
I'd be so down.
So
If
good.
they
So
develop-
annoying.
So,
If
they give her a
you
lot
need
more
to see her in
development.
The Hobbit again, and then you'll find out what's really annoying. All right, let's go over to Alex. Who do you got?
Hey, he's better than Peter.
What?
Better than Toby
If you
playing
say
Peter.
Drax,
He's
Oh, no, I know.
better than Andrew playing Spider-Man. He's Spider-Man, and he's great.
Tom
Tom
Holland.
Holland.
Spider-Man.
Tom
Thomas
does whatever
Holland
a spider can.
is
That's
the
not the words. It's
what
the
is he? He's
Simpson
the
words.
fourth.
It's all I remember.
Spider-Man's my fourth.
I tried to get him in
favorite
there
hero.
too.
Spider-Man.
I tried to.
There's so many heroes.
I think
I
he's,
love the Spider-Man pick. He's so good.
he's the best portrayed Spider-Man on screen we've seen
Oh,
on the
yeah.
big screen.
He's-
Like both
he's-
versions.
He,
Sure,
yeah, no, Toby was always the better
Toby's amazing.
Peter.
He
He
was
was
better
always the
Spider-
better Peter. I always thought he was the better Peter
Yeah,
Parker.
no,
And then
no,
Andrew
no.
Garfield's the better Spider-Man. And then Tom Holland's the perfect combination.
Andrew
Yeah.
Garfield's just overrated as Spider-Man, and Tobey Maguire is the real Spider-Man, and Tom Holland's
And
a
I love the
knockoff.
fact. And I'm with Kevin
Whoa.
Smith, where they actually gave him a New
I
York
love
accent.
Toby so
Like, they
much.
kind of gloss over the fact that he's actually from Queens,
That's true.
so he should talk.
There's a
Notice.
scene
from
in
New York.
Homecoming where he talks about how he walked in and he went full British, and it's the scene when he walks in to get the sandwich, and they cut to the other guy's face because it was the only usable shot, and they had to redub over because he was just in a British accent the whole time, and he was seeing it in the editing room, and he's like, guys, you know I went full British there, and they're like, really? That's a British accent? And he's like, yeah, it is. He walked in, he's like, oi, mate. Like, he just immediately just goes,
Oi,
straight British.
mate.
I don't know. Don't sue me. Strings. All right,
Yeah.
I had Thor, so Zach, what do you got?
Am I number 4?
Gamora.
He's covered his
number
list.
You have Gamora on your list. I just sniped Alan.
Is Dr. Stephen Strange?
Wow, a lot of people would disagree with you. A
Interesting
lot of
choice,
people.
man.
He is
the
actually
internet
the one
hates
that
him
is
a lot of the
willing to
time.
do the greater for the good.
Yeah, I don't love his.
Well, he's a
He does not
badass in
care
Infinity
about.
War.
Yeah, he's
like,
amazing, and Infinity War makes him way better. I didn't love his movie, but Infinity War, he's awesome.
What does he say to Dormammu every time when he shows up?
Dormammu!
Is that what first thing he yells is his name?
I love the bargain.
Also, I very
Well, here,
much...
I think Zach had a little bit more to say first. Did you have anything else to add on?
His origin is not the best, I'm not gonna lie, but I think like overall his
Keep going, keep going.
My show.
but I think like his trajectory and the way that he sort of outlined, he's an outlier to the nucleus of the hero group, where he's just fresh territory. And I love everything that he's been doing so far. So.
Interesting
Like
choice.
when he says like if it comes to you, if he comes to you, the kid or the time stone, I will not hesitate to let any of you die
And
to
then
keep the
that
time
was
stone
not
safe.
true. Dormammu was my number 7th villain. I thought about putting him at like 3 just to mess with him.
Just-
He was so hard.
There would be a lot of fiery talks on that.
Dormammu. Anyway, I like that
Also a
choice.
choice,
Stephen
though,
Strange
yeah.
does not make it onto mine. Kyle, who do you got?
I was looking at my villains list for a second and got very confused.
Who's
My number 4 is Star Lord.
I said Star Wars and I
Who? Hey, I get the reference.
I really take. I could not put Star Lord on my top 5.
I really like Star Wars.
I love Star Lord too. He's not,
Yeah.
he's not top 5 material to me.
Oh,
I
I
like him
disagree
because
so much.
I
Oh my
like him
gosh, we're
because-
gonna
Are you
give
giving me
some
something
words.
better than Rocket?
I like him.
No, Rocket's great. I love
Taking
Rocket.
shots. Anything's better than Iron Man 3. Anyway, go.
Oh, no
Rocket
need
actually
for
learns
that.
from his mistakes.
True. That is
That's
true.
a good point.
That is a good
Does
point.
Peter ever learn?
But that's what I like though. Like he's so problematic, but yet still charming that we root for him to try and be better.
Yeah, and it's so
And it's all Chris Pratt, his
And-
mannerisms and just the way he portrays that
and,
character.
and
to
every
where
time he
we
freaks
just
out, it
love
makes
so much.
sense.
Yeah, like there's never a moment where you're
You know
like
what? I'm gonna keep talking with him because he's my number 3, and I'm next.
yeah, and please take it away.
No, you keep going.
Oh,
bud.
thank you.
Yeah, I love Peter
Safe
Quill.
transition.
No, is from like the first shot of like him dancing during the opening credits of like Guardians. I was like,
Yeah.
this is a character I'm gonna love. Like Chris Pratt and James Gunn somehow figure out a way to make this unknown character just like the most problematic character, but still so likable and charming and funny and charismatic. And I think he's a little bit more underrated than people give him credit for.
Even if you took out him, the whole screwing up all the gauntlet part, he was still kind of like an asshole, an a-hole.
He is, but
It makes
but,
sense.
but he's
I
still
love him.
charming enough.
No, he was not that charming.
Oh, I thought he
My
was.
own-
Wasn't
like
Infinity
straight
War?
up just
Dude,
being
the guy
mean.
got
all the
abducted from
time.
Earth after his mom died
My-
of
But
cancer
that's-
when he was like 6 years old.
My only pushback is just I feel his character development over the 3 movies we've seen him in is just very minimum to a lot of the other characters because
Really?
he really does the same thing in all 3 movies.
Yeah.
He
But that-
he
I
makes
really
the
like
hot-headed
that, though.
mistake.
He goes
something
through
about that I
no,
like.
he goes
At
through
some
some
point,
emotional
he can
evolution,
still
but
be
he just doesn't
enduring, but
necessarily
still
evolve
real.
and like learning
Yeah.
lessons.
Yeah.
But he's still just very much the same
To me,
person.
that's what
he just
I-
cares
I-
so much and he just tries
He
so
would
hard.
make
He's-
my top 10 for
he's
sure.
very
He's not a
emotional.
top 5 for me because
Oh,
of
I
that
think
though.
he
Because
easily
I think all the characters
This guy.
like Thor and Rocket who I've already talked about, they actually show me a little bit of learning and they show me a little bit of change and they show me a little bit of
Except
development.
I just don't think a protagonist necessarily has to grow.
For me,
And that's
I
a
like
good
it.
example of
For
of
the
way
MCU,
to
I
do
think
it.
really
normally
like
it
it.
does, but I think for Peter Quill it works out brilliantly. And
Yeah.
even though I don't like Guardians 2, everything with his dad and his emotional relationship, like to find out that your dad like killed your mom and that he's this really evil dude after
Yeah.
you've been abducted, when you're like, he's gone through so much and he's still just has to listen to Footloose.
give Kurt
he
Russell,
listens to Footloose for like 30 years.
To give Kurt
The guy is trying.
To give Kurt Russell credit, he is definitely Star-Lord's father because he doesn't even hesitate. He's like, "Yeah, I killed your mom." He doesn't think about it. He's very just
So no, I love Peter
egotistical.
Quill.
Oh.
But yeah, I couldn't put him at 5, but I
He is
I see
top
your
10.
points.
He is top 10.
Oh, for sure.
I'll go with that.
Not
I'll
as
go
good
with
as
Well,
the
trust me,
real
there-
anti-hero.
Trust me, there's a
thing,
certain
Dormammu.
guy not on my list, and I'm
It's
gonna
a-
get some
He's a
flack.
true hero, Doctor Strange.
All right, Julie, what's your number 3?
Okay, here's a curveball for you.
Oh boy.
Valkyrie from Thor.
I
What?
love that pick.
Wow.
Julie, we are on the
Wow.
same wavelength
We
all
are
night.
I would
vibing
not
right
put
now.
Valkyrie
Valkyrie
did not make my list. I am regretting it a little bit. Valkyrie is
my
so
gosh.
good.
Not
Her
Star
motives
Wars.
are a little.
Amazing.
Her motives are a little.
Yeah, what?
I didn't say I put
She
Valkyrie
just-
over Star Lord. I just said I love Julie's pick.
But
of
you like it
Valkyrie.
more than the Star-Lord choice, though.
Yeah.
That's still...
because
Weird.
I expected a few to have Star Lord. I didn't expect anybody to put Valkyrie on the list.
I mean, I like
love
Valkyrie, but I
Well,
still
Well,
wouldn't
yeah.
put it in my
explain
top
why,
list.
because I'm
She
baffled.
is amazing. She just flies
I can
into
feel
Thor
this. I
Ragnarok.
love
She's
it.
like alcoholic.
Technically, she's still-
soldier.
We
on
got
the
in a
road.
big debate about her yesterday.
We did, and we'll
Oh,
get into that
really?
later,
Yeah.
but yeah, keep...
Well, back you
Um,
up.
Also, she's like the first canonically bisexual character in Marvel.
Hot.
That's a big deal.
I forgot
That's
about
a
that,
big deal.
actually.
And I love
actually
Tessa
didn't know
Thompson,
that.
and I think
Oh,
she just
She's
made
so
Thor
good at
Ragnarok
Annihilation.
she's
a better
Oh, yeah.
movie.
she's arguably the best young actress working today, and there are some
And
good ones. She's arguably I didn't
alive
say
in
definitely.
Endgame. I'm so excited.
I know. I do. Kyle and I talked about it yesterday. We do wish they wouldn't have spoiled that in the posters.
Yeah.
Because they did, and
They
I
did.
wish I
That's
would have
true.
known
But-
that in the theater if she was alive.
Are
or
you
not.
mad
Spoiler, by
about
the way.
all the posters, like how they?
I liked the concept with the poster of the ones in black and white were the people who were dead and the ones with color weren't. That's,
Yeah, but
that's the
you didn't
reveal.
like that it kind of spoiled some.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just had a
Oh,
poster
no.
of Valkyrie that was colored.
Well,
so
yeah,
that
and
just bothered me.
Shuri, that's dead.
Well,
That
Shuri
one we
to
knew.
them, Shuri to them is just they say missing. That's not necessarily sure that she's dead. She might
But
just
the
be missing.
poster
But
confirms that
odds
she's
are
dead.
she's.
Yeah,
she's
that's a
not
good point,
alive.
too.
And Pepper Potts is alive.
Yeah.
Potts.
That
Oh,
that
yeah.
I've heard has been seen in a trailer.
Yeah.
The trailer I didn't watch.
I've seen.
Oh, yeah, that was
I've seen all of the
what
new
the-
trailers. I've even seen a leaked clip.
Oh,
Oh yeah, they
Oh.
dropped another clip today.
Oh, I'm not seeing
They
it.
dropped
Yeah.
another clip today.
there's
What
so
are you
many
doing?
clips.
What are you doing? Everybody, the tickets
It's
were sold
insane.
out 3 weeks ago. What are you doing still dropping trailers?
Yeah, I don't
They
know.
love games.
They.
They love endgames.
Good thing I
Did you-
stopped watching.
Did you watch the trailer though? That was just like a flashback from all the movies.
The
Not
the
I have not even
no
seen that
no
one.
I
No.
didn't I
It's
haven't
not
seen that one.
I
but
know,
it's,
but I just
it's
do
the
not.
like
I don't care.
It's
I'm
like
good.
a
What do they
fan
call it?
video.
They have my ticket, man.
But
I
it's
don't-
official.
it's they have a special word for it and I can't think of it, but it's just paying homage to everybody
Yeah.
who's ever been in it.
I'm sure it's
No,
good.
it
I
has
just
a
don't.
clip
I'm
from
good.
every
It's fine.
single Marvel movie.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I've heard little bits. Apparently, big spoilers are going around on Twitter, and it was really making people mad. Endgame.
Yeah, the Russos
I
have
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
part of the
regret.
movie,
I
yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
regret watching the last like full trailer because it does feel like they kind of like, if it was all CG, which the Russos have alluded to that they CGI'd a lot.
Well,
of
to
stuff.
be honest, I don't think they've alluded to it. I think the fans have because they did do it in Infinity War, where they made it look like the Hulk was going to fight in Wakanda, and it was the Hulk Buster that they edited
Yeah.
out. And when they did that, everyone's like, "Well, what did they edit out this time?" What if every scene in a trailer is in the movie? What if it's just stuff they shot?
That'd
That would be
hilarious.
fantastic.
that would be great.
I love that.
misleading.
That would be incredible.
Mhm.
All right, I
Okay.
love the Valkyrie. pick.
Anyways,
I
yeah,
love
Valkyrie.
the
She's just
pick.
such a fun female
She's
hero
a good-
that's gonna
good
come in,
artist.
and I'm just excited to see what she's
Wouldn't
gonna do.
Honestly,
Top
she's
five.
arguably
In Endgame.
like the trio, her Hulk and Thor and
It's
Loki. I'll give
amazing.
Loki. They make the
Loki's
whole
hot.
movie. It's so good. And Jeff Goldblum. That Ragnarok's pretty good.
It's amazing.
All right, Alex, who do you got? We got a great pick in Loki. What do you got?
Hey,
Loki,
number 3 is
Valkyrie.
Captain America.
Nice.
Can't go wrong with that.
Important choice.
I thought you already had Steve Rogers.
What?
For number
Oh,
3.
I had
She
Oh,
has
you
Steve
did.
Rogers.
Okay, I was like, I'm gonna say I knew someone I don't know about.
Steve Rogers and Captain America.
I know.
Are the same.
What?
That just went over my head.
So, why Cap?
What?
Do you want to
What?
say?
What?
I mean, why not? I mean, I think
I love this. Yeah.
I
Why
think
not?
that
Why not?
at least for me, I mean, the top 3 are pretty easy picks.
Oh, mine.
Mhm.
You're gonna.
Yeah.
Really?
My top
Mine
3
are
I
pretty
thought
easy.
were easy, and then halfway through the villains
My
video, I
1
changed
and
it.
2 were easy.
It's just the order, I think. I would think
No, I
would be
get it.
different.
Fine.
Yeah.
Trust
There we
me,
go.
not
Top
with
three were
me.
pretty difficult.
We're gonna have one the
Cannot
same.
wait to see.
Maybe.
All right, I'm gonna shift it over to me here, my show. My number 3 is the one I put in halfway through the video, and it's Spider-Man. I
Spider-Man.
didn't originally have him in the list, and I don't know why I didn't.
Whoa.
And then I just started thinking about it, and everything Alex said earlier is right. He's got some of the best moments. He's got arguably maybe the best bromance with him and Tony, the best dad
Dad Mance.
figure mans.
Everyone
but
struggles with fatherhood.
He is so
Every Marvel
so
character.
good. He brings an energy that we talked about earlier that only like him and it seems like Paul Rudd really bring, and he brings it maybe more.
Paul
where
Rudd's
he
so
just
cute.
where he just loves
Tom
being
Holland.
Spider-Man.
But so is Tom
He has
Yeah.
great chemistry. I mean, the Far Far From Home trailer, Far Far Away From Home, whatever it's called.
Far, far
Looks-
away.
looks fantastic.
Just far from
And
home.
it sounds like he's got a great
Far,
romance
far,
with
far
Jake
from home.
Gyllenhaal too. I just absolutely
Oh,
love
can't
Tom
wait for Jake
Holland. So
Gyllenhaal.
he is my number
God,
three.
the
You
Mysterio
can't-
costume is so good.
It's so good.
So good. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
It just reminded me of that.
He was gonna curse.
I almost did, yeah, but
Alright.
I know what the rules of this are.
Who do you got?
number 3 is Captain America.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm in
I
the
understand.
minority.
Wow.
He
Captain, make your
he,
list.
he doesn't have like a lot of he doesn't have
Still
like,
got two
a
to
lot of
go.
complex things going on,
to go.
but really he's just sort of
You
like,
already know
I
what's
believe in
going
this
on,
one
probably.
thing, I'm acting on it, and now that everything that he's believed in so has just crumbled in front of him, he's just like, I don't care anymore. I'm gonna do what I feel is right now.
I love that he rages.
Yeah.
He just goes hard.
when he's
hard.
just what is his
And-
supposedly character's name in Infinity War, like the Wanderer?
Nomad.
So the Nomad. Oh, just when he's Snake Plissken, it's the best.
Well, number 3 for me is Thor. I mean, Thor the movie is
We just had our
underrated.
Three
Thor
and
was
four.
originally
Yeah, exactly.
Thor was originally my 3 till I remembered Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Spider-Man?
And then Thor came out the list.
No, Thor moved to 4 and
Oh,
then
that's
Winter
right,
Soldier
that's
dropped.
Yeah. Well, I think the first Thor is underrated, and most of it is because of Tom Hiddleston, but also because of Chris Hemsworth. Like, you see that first image of him in the costume, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that's Thor, hands down. I didn't even see his performance, and then I knew it was Thor. And he's gone through some rough stuff. He had some weird scenes in Age of Ultron. Had some weird movie moments
was
in
in a
the Dark
bathtub.
World. He was in the hot tub
I
magic
want to
tub.
say like he had some great great introduction moments in Thor, but as a whole, it was not a good movie. Thor 2 kind of took him kicked him a back seat.
The list is gonna be.
Well, yeah,
And
and
then
is gonna
Thor,
be 4 hour
Thor
debate.
Ragnarok on. That's when he starts.
Yeah,
to
despite the
really
misses
go.
that Hemsworth had to go through with the Thor franchise, like he was still able
His
to make that
development
character.
though is so good.
It's so.
Yeah, like Hemsworth
He's
is
great.
able to make that character's development like worthwhile and interesting, and for him being like one of the big 3 in the MCU, like it's well deserved.
I mean, he in the first one is just a cocky, arrogant guy who changes a little bit.
Well,
through
who was
Earth.
pampered as
but
a
then-
kid makes sense. Why
Yeah,
he's
but
like
then
that.
taken all the way to Infinity War, and he's lost everything.
He was almost like the king of like a survival group of Asgardians, and then that went to the.
Yeah, real.
And half of them got murdered by Thanos, and then the half of that half got snapped by Thanos.
So then it's just Valkyrie left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Valkyrie and the Rock guy
Yep.
that Taika Waititi played.
Korg.
He's not
Korg.
even an
They're on another
Asgardian.
ship.
I'm Korg. This is Meek.
That's what they've been saying. Is
Mm.
that's all right.
I can
Nick,
believe that.
who's your number 2? I think I've got a good guess.
2.
Black Panther.
I knew it. I knew it.
Oh.
Black Panther
Love
actually doesn't make
T'Challa.
my list.
Well,
and I
You
do
forgot
love
him.
him. I do
forgot
love
him.
him.
I
Yep.
forgot
You shouldn't
about
be
him.
mean.
That's my,
love Black Panther. I
that's
think
also my number 2.
everything.
All right.
Everything about like Killmonger, it's like can also kind of be applied to Black Panther. And
Yeah.
how he evolves in the movie and
The
how.
talk with his dad is
Yeah,
so
and I love in the beginning of the like obviously everything that happens in Civil War is super good with him, and he just kind of shows up as this like kind of like an anti-hero almost.
He's
in
a
Civil
seam
War.
stealer as an anti-hero.
Yeah, he
Oh, yeah.
stole Civil
Really?
War.
Yeah.
He definitely like I
Yeah,
remember
right.
after Civil War it was like Black Panther stole the movie, and then to see him and he puts his father on a pedestal, and then to see Killmonger come in and see him realize that no,
His dad didn't do the right
he,
stuff.
he did some bad things, and we need to change this. And,
Yeah.
and so he's amazing, and I wish
Yeah,
he was
now
better.
when
I wish he was
so
better
good.
utilized in Infinity War.
Mhm.
It's so good.
He's just kind of
It's just
hanging out.
such a good movie.
Ryan Coogler.
He fights. for
Yeah, and
sure.
he could have been
True.
used a lot more in Infinity.
He does
War.
run fast.
I don't think they realized how big of a phenomenon that Black Panther was
Oh
going to
no!
be. Or
I
they
mean,
would have
it's a good thing
used.
it paid off. as
But
well as it did.
no. To be honest, I don't. The way Marvel operates, I don't think they would have done that knowing it was going to be that big because they are so. They care more about what makes our story good, and so
Do
I
they?
don't necessarily.
It wouldn't have changed
I
the
think
story.
that's
to
why they
T'Challa
got the directors they
I think
Be,
that-
have
I
a
think
bigger
like-
role.
I think like Black
There's
Panther,
no room for him to have a bigger role.
Black
There's no
Panther
room for
is sort of
anybody
like
to
a
have a bigger role.
character
It's
who's-
Thanos' movie.
You might as well just cut
It's kind of like this.
all the
where,
cut
like,
scenes out.
all the Marvel heroes like Captain America and Iron Man and all those guys, them getting like their conclusion on Endgame,
Yeah.
while Black Panther and Vision and all those guys, they're gonna move forward and have their own sagas and
Getting
develop
a
them
star,
their own
yeah.
things.
Unless
So-
they still are.
Do you have someone on both?
So at
lists?
this
you
point,
do.
he would
I hate
definitely
him.
be in the top 5
This is number 2. and
if I had a little bit more of
He
like,
is a
movie or
certain
something
guy
like
on
that, and
both
more of a
lists.
conclusion going to.
Which we will get,
Oh,
I
yeah,
believe.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Black Panther
yell at
too.
him so much.
We're
Yeah,
not
okay,
gonna.
Cougars
Well, not
coming
yet
back to you,
because
right?
we're on number 2.
What's number? did you
What's
go?
your number 2?
No, she says
We've
Black
not
Black
been
Panther.
Panther,
talking
yeah.
about
Yeah,
it.
Black Panther. It's
Alex, what's your number 2?
all 3 of us are Black Panther. Right
That's not the case. Because my number 2 is Thor.
I love this
Not
guy.
on the list.
Wow.
Thor.
I don't like you.
Mhm.
I
The
don't
scene?
like-
Bucky didn't make your list.
No list.
He's
No
not on
list
any
about-
He's a
list.
villain.
I wrote him down the list, off the list.
No, yeah.
I did the
it's
same
on
thing
your
to Bucky.
list.
Like I don't. I can see Thor's great.
God,
You're really high off watching Thor 2 apparently.
Yeah.
you were so
You were
wrong.
so wrong.
Oh my god,
You were so
And these are the guys who
You
drank
both
the
are
Kool-Aid.
wrong. Thor
Yeah.
is in the back of the list.
Oh my
Both
God.
of them.
We'll talk
All three
about
of them.
we'll talk about that later.
I didn't say Thor
No,
is
no,
not
yeah,
on the
me
list. I
and
said
you,
Thor
yeah.
is the most underrated Marvel movie.
Have you
It's better than people give it
Have
credit
you
for.
seen Iron Man 3?
I have.
And I still think.
Okay.
Have you seen Iron Man 2?
We'll get there. We'll get
Yeah,
there.
well,
Alex, do you have
that's
anything
gonna
you
be a
wanted
whole-
to say about Thor?
This is.
No, but my number 1 is Iron Man.
Whoa.
Why did you jump?
Why
We
are
still
going
have
out of
more
order?
people to go for number 2.
Yeah,
What?
especially the host.
Yeah.
3
He
more.
hasn't
us
given us
two.
number 2.
We'll get to you in a
Us
little
3
bit.
haven't done
All right.
number 2.
I did mine too.
Really excited
No, I did
about
not.
it. Jump
I did
the
not
gun.
do it too. Sorry.
Yeah,
What
no,
the
it
hell?
starts with me.
Why are you doing?
Look,
You're
he-
throwing
Jeez
me off.
Louise!
I can't wait to go back in the edit and see how many times we lose Alex, and
Yeah.
he's just
Oh
Yeah.
my god, the amount of
There's
times
a lot
I've
of
seen him.
times.
looking at his
It's
hair.
this.
All right,
It's
so-
this.
My number 2. My number 2 is Captain America.
Yes.
Dang.
Are you?
Yes.
Is it yours?
No, but I like your pick.
My number 2 is Captain America because I think my number 1 and number 2 are really, when you buckle it down, are the
I feel like we
crux
might
of
all
everything.
have the
Oh,
same
yeah.
number.
Oh, I've
one.
thought about that since we started the list.
Yeah.
I
Unless
think
he
I don't
might
think
be
Kyle's
one
is.
different. Cap might be
Dormammu.
his. Have you said Cap yet? So Cap's his one, probably.
Oh, called him out. Let me finish. Cap has such development going all the way from the goody two shoes to still trying to maintain that he's the goody two shoes to Ultron being like, you're a man. Like, that's one of the best lines in Ultron is when he's like, oh, the soldier who can't live without a war. And basically the idea that he will create a war because he needs to be around a war. And he has to come to terms with that's not necessarily true. He's got to figure his own life out. And I love Cap. I love his I'm going to do what's right for the people attitude. He doesn't, in Winter Soldier, he doesn't want to kill people before they've committed a crime. They deserve to have a chance to make up their mind on their own. And
He's gonna attack me.
I love it. I love it. So let's
You
get to
just
the
get ready
attack
to
after,
pounce.
or before, we'll get to Zach first, though. Zach, who's your number 2?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Ooh, I like the pick.
Yeah. He is.
Really, the pick hates
the-
you. Talked to her last night.
Hates me?
No, the pick, Zach's pick does, of Spider-Man.
It has
Anyway,
been
continue,
returning my
Zach.
calls for a long time.
Wow.
No, continue.
I just love Tom Holland's performance in there. He actually looks like he's actually 19 instead of looking like a 30-year-old.
He's like 21 isn't
Yeah,
he?
like,
Yeah, he's,
a
He
little
he's
young.
actually
young.
looks the correct age for Spider-Man.
Yeah, and he actually kind of.
So does Toby.
Especially
He
now.
could be my dad.
He's got probably the best jokes in the entire franchise.
You
as a
gotta
whole.
see the
That's
first
cool.
Ant-Man.
Throwing the
Anyway.
finger up.
I did the thing.
With the pinky.
He's probably got the best jokes, and he's got
It's
the
true.
best dynamic with all the other characters by far, because he's such a kid, but also at the same time, he's just like, he's a kid that has a good conscience. He's trying to stick to like what he
Unlike
feels
that
is
guy
right.
back in the day.
He's trying to stick to what he feels is right, which is higher standards than most like 14 or 15-year-olds at his age think, especially when they get powers like he does. And he tries to stick to that, and I really enjoy that.
His line in Civil War, where it's basically the what's
Yeah.
the responsibility line.
great
that-
power
yeah,
trying
with
to
his
stick
great
up
power.
for the little man.
He redoes it in his own way, where he says, if you
The
get
bad
powers
stuff
like I do and you don't do anything, and then the bad stuff happen, they happen because of you. And you can see Tony's like, all right, I get it. I'm with you. And Tony needed that pickup, so I completely agree.
Yeah,
Like,
and
it's
him
so
and
good.
him and Homecoming, when all those boulders hung on top of him, and he realizes like, oh man, I'm by myself. I got to do this myself, and he kind of finds his own strength within and all that stuff.
Too good.
I love it.
Yeah,
All right,
man,
Kyle.
It's great.
Tell us your number 2 pick.
Iron Man.
Yep.
Oh, the OG, the one that started it all. Like,
Yep.
I think
Everyone like doesn't know what to say because
started it all.
he
Yeah.
literally started it
the
all.
Hulk.
And I honestly think like out of all the characters, he has the most development out of everyone.
I agree.
Like even
I
in
completely
Iron Man
agree.
2,
That's why he's
like
number
he
one.
has the most development. In Iron Man 3, say what you will about
Yeah.
it, he has
So do
great
I.
development. Like
He is great.
So
development.
outside, we're just gonna say.
like,
Wait.
he's viewed as,
He has a bad conscience, but he's trying to reprimand it.
yeah,
He knows
and he
that
does
he's
it whether
made
it's in
mistakes.
good ways or in bad ways. Like
Yeah.
Civil War, whether it's a good way or bad way, he tries to.
Yeah,
Have a
We're
good
gonna
conscience
just
and
break
reprimand.
the
Wait,
news.
but first, can I tell you one person who didn't make my top 5?
Yes.
I think I'm the only one. Captain America.
Yeah, I was
That
wondering
doesn't
who was-
surprise me.
Captain
You're so
America
against
might
Cap?
not even be in my top
No,
10.
you
Oh
copy
my
us.
God.
That's
Wow.
that's
Wow.
ridiculous. There's not
That's
even.
you're
That's
I-
actually.
Now this, I know I'm. in
Name
my-
me
gotta
right
get
now
better.
5 heroes that are not in your top 5 you'd put above him.
Rocket.
You're just gonna name the Guardians.
No.
Well, he just named
Could
one.
you imagine when he does that though? If
Rocket?
he was like Rocket, Gamora, Star Lord, he just names all. Boom!
Doctor Strange.
Oh God,
Doctor
no.
Strange.
No.
I had
Valkyrie.
Doctor
No.
Strange.
You're just
Wasp,
naming characters
no.
you can remember.
No, I
Lord.
just
No.
find him boring and frustrating. Even though he's in a lot of his movies, I really enjoy, but
They're the
he's
best
never
movies.
been my favorite person on screen, except it's
That's
a single shot.
that's insane.
Unless it's a single shot.
That's
All right, we're
insane.
gonna break the news, and Zach, you can chime in with us unless you're different. But I think the 4 of us for sure all have
Iron
Iron
Man.
Man at number 1.
Yeah,
Zach
Iron
does
Man
as well. I
is
knew it, and this is where this
unbelievable.
debate was going to
Yeah.
come into.
Besides Bucky.
So Kyle, we'll get into a
Bucky.
debate
Have
between
Cap.
Iron Man and whoever your number 1 is. So just go ahead and tell us your number 1 because.
Oh well, he guessed it already.
Yeah,
I didn't-
I
Oh,
called
did
it
you
out.
not?
It's
You
Hulk?
called him back-
It's Hulk.
Yeah, it's
No, it's Cap.
It's Captain
Oh,
America.
yeah.
And that's why he's gonna kill me.
I mean, I do understand why you guys put Iron Man as like
I don't
the number
think you
1.
do.
It's what I was saying. Like I think because he has the most development out of all the characters. I just like Captain America 1 because his franchise, his series, like I've liked those movies the most if I had to choose between them all.
point.
And I think Captain America has gone through an arc that I was never expecting out of these movies and throughout all the Avengers movies, going from being like the goody World War II trying to save the day guy over to being one who's almost against his own government and is just trying to do his
Is.
own thing.
Flat out is against.
And
the
I think
government.
I can kind of understand why you would view him as boring. Like I mean,
Yeah, I just don't find.
if
him
you just look at it
interesting
on the outside, he may not seem like the most
Oh, trust me, I want to like him.
flourished
Everyone else
character,
does.
but I still think he is, and I
Still
think his
Team
movies
Cap.
are the best, and that's why I put him at number 1.
Iron
I get why
Man-
you guys put
And
him.
I can
Man-
see why you do, because obviously everyone loves him. I'm just
Iron Man is
Yeah,
the best hero because of that. Yes, the movies Cap are in, the 3 he's in by himself are better. I think all 3 of them are better.
Oh yeah.
Especially
But
overall and clumped
in
together.
every movie, though, I feel like someone steals the show. That's not.
I disagree. I think
Civil
they're all
War, I think
Cap
Black
movies.
Panther, Winter Soldier.
Some
I
people
think,
also say Spider-Man, but
I
I think
think
it's a Cap
I would
movie.
say like maybe even though like Iron Man hasn't had the most consistent quality in his standalone films as Captain America.
Yeah, that's
But every film outside of those Iron Man films, he's gotten the most development out
Yeah.
of some.
So
of the
that's
main
my
characters.
point. In any
Yeah,
movie
which I
he
understand.
is
that,
in,
yeah.
they always like the. I don't like Iron Man 3 very
He has
much at
great
all.
development.
But
Yeah.
his
This is
development is the
scenes
best
for any
part.
hero. Yeah.
It is the best part. And
That's
you
why
see
I like
him
that
go
movie
from
so
such a
much.
cocky, arrogant man to such a broken man that when we were watching Infinity War yesterday, like, he really should have turned the ship around. He should have gone and backed everybody up on Wakanda. And he doesn't, and you get why he doesn't, because he really is like, it's time to, I'm the closest I'll ever be to ending it, I don't want to wait any longer. Let's go after him.
Yeah.
And then when he says to Thanos, like, you've been haunting me for the last 8 years, and, you know, Thanos gives the best line in all of Marvel, where he goes, I do, you know, it's the best. And then they know each other, they're connected, and that's another reason he's my number one villain, because they're just,
It's also
they're connected.
Thanos looks at Iron Man and says, "You have knowledge," and looks at Captain America and he's like, "You can kind of
he
hold my
doesn't
fist."
say any of that.
He gives a face.
He says
He
that
says
to
you have
Iron Man. He
knowledge.
says
He
we're
doesn't say
both
that to Cap.
cursed with knowledge. Yeah, because Cap doesn't have
Well,
knowledge.
cursed with knowledge is saying you have knowledge, but no,
What?
I love Cap.
Well, you just
but-
said the same thing.
What?
What?
Saying you're cursed with knowledge is saying you have knowledge.
What? I'm not going to get into that one. That's not what I fully meant.
What?
All right, I guess I have.
We're
The
confused.
way you were wording it made me think like it was saying like he is just much smarter than everybody else, so that's why he's
No,
better than
I
Cap.
mean,
No, he is,
he
but
is
that's
smart, but-
that's why I was saying
I
the
like-
line of we're
that was
cursed with
another-
knowledge, and the way I thought you were wording it was him saying like you're just clearly smarter than everybody, and that I think is the difference. Is what I meant.
I
But it's not a
That
big
was
thing.
also one of my reasons why he was my number one. Is just sort of like putting him in a room by himself in a cave with a box of scraps, and he will make Iron Man.
One more time. Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps. That'll not be the last time.
Wow.
No,
Tony is
Wow.
by far the best. I love Cap, and I love Cap's development. But even in Infinity War, like, Cap's just doing his Cap thing in Infinity War. Iron Man actually has character arc. In
Yeah,
Infinity
and it's
War.
so uninteresting. In
Oh
Infinity
The
my
War.
gosh, when we
Avengers?
get to that debate, it's gonna be heated. We still have
Wow.
a couple hours to go.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is
Any final thoughts on the heroes, villains list?
Avengers.
There's a lot of
would
great
be
heroes.
Nowhere.
Let's be real.
There's
Nick,
a lot.
they
they're
keep cutting
focused
There's a
on
lot
There's
more-
a lot more heroes
There's a lot more
than villains
likable
that are
and
great.
better heroes overall. Than
What were you saying, Julie?
Like a lot of the standalone movies
No
get a
idea.
lot of weak villains. I'm not gonna lie.
the focus is on the heroes in the
Yeah.
MCU. That's
Finish your thought, Jules.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say the Avengers would be nowhere without Tony Stark. So much of the technology that so many different characters use is from him,
Yeah.
Yeah.
including
He gives
But-
them a
Cap's
place.
shield.
He gives them a
He-
place.
Well, that's
to
from
crash.
Howard Stark.
Why doesn't he just
Yeah,
give
that's true.
everyone suits and then they just wouldn't need him anymore?
Because they need to be unique. Nick.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a suit.
Nick.
But I just
And
like
then
I
he's
saw
like,
this post
"Oh,
that
I
was
guess
like,
you don't need me. You can take my
And
suit.
when
See, if you
everyone's
win without me, and
super,
then everyone
you
gets
know
his
I'm
back."
Fantasy movie.
But yeah, I was just like looking at this post and it listed all the things that Tony had made that different heroes use, and it's like the Falcon has his little
Wings.
buddy wing thing. No, you know the little okay.
No, I know.
and
I
like
know.
and like
yeah.
Black Widow and
I also showed
so
Kyle a
many
post once where you can go through and see that every time every movie, he changed his suit to adapt to the events that happened in the last movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's just
yeah.
crazy. Like he went to after the
That's awesome.
thing where he's like, I'm gonna stick this in my arm, and Iron Man 3 was like, no, let's just do nanotech. Like it's you know it's he's the best. Any other
He's
final
so
thoughts on the
smart.
heroes or
He's so
villains
smart.
list before we're gonna take a break and then we're gonna
Love
come
it.
back for the big list. And Alex is dropping a big theory as well for Endgame
Oh.
when we get into the Endgame.
Man,
Big
he is
things.
excited to drop this theory. This
I
better
bet.
be.
I hope your
big.
theory is that they all die.
I-
And the White Walkers show
No.
up.
I have a
White
theory.
Walker politics.
I have a theory of
back.
what the end credit scene is going to be, and I'm very confident about it.
Oh,
and
wow.
I hope
know
it's
when
wrong.
I know
Right
oh.
now, before I know it, I hope it's wrong.
I
So I
know.
can lie.
We do that. That's a Weaver thing to do. Anyway, we're going to take a break.